So, I mean, speaking of dedication, that Metroid thing has well over 14,000 signatures to get canceled, which is funny.
It's not going to happen because the game is too close.
Yeah,
Looks like it's about ready to be launched. Isn't it like
yeah,
coming out very soon this year? In fact, I think.
I think so.
So it's like they're not going to cancel it this soon into development.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
not.
think
This,
so.
this isn't the 1990s. If this was the 1990s, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah, there you could still get it done, but no, it's too. We're at a point in time where when you're this close to the game being released, you've spent too much money, and it would be like a death. It'd be too much. It would be worse of an investment or loss of. You'd lose more money not canceling the game now at this point than you would releasing the game
yeah,
that is destined to fail. Because at least you'll sell copies
yeah.
and make money.
Right. Yeah, I mean, they put X amount of hours in and X amount of money already into it. You might as well get something out of it. So,
Yeah.
whatever. I just hope they learn at least and just give them what they want. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of the series. I like Metroid Prime a lot, but that's about it. So yeah, I mean, needless to say, um, yeah,
Yeah, so there was the bombshells were nice, but I still overall we still really needed more of a bomb, more bomb, more interesting things overall because Sony was pretty, as you see from the three big bombshells, Sony was was the only one that had anything that was considered a big bombshell.
right,
So it's like it kind of makes it seem kind of one-sided.
yeah,
So it's like it, and the worst part is all three of those are going to be next gen exclusive, which makes it even harder to be excited for when you don't have the next gen console already,
right,
like we do. I mean, I would try to get it this year, but unfortunately, there's something I need to get a new computer, a new laptop this year because this laptop that I'm using currently is on it just needs to go.
Maybe you should get a gaming laptop instead and just go for PC. I don't know.
No, because I'm not gonna don't I don't want to. I mean, I'm not gonna try and do like a completely dedicated gaming laptop. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm, but I because I want it more. I mean, honestly, I just want a laptop to watch my anime and to write my fic with.
Mhm.
I mean, and I mean other various things I do on the internet.
Right.
So it's just a lot easier. But in terms of gaming, I mean, there isn't really anything I really am like clamoring to do on the PC in
Uh huh.
terms of PC gaming. Of course, I mean, for example, I mean, it would be nice to have a computer that can play DVDs again
Yeah.
because a long time, like what was it? I think like 2 or 3 years ago, I my computer was giving me problems with the program that it was using to play the DVDs on the computer was was like screwed up or something, and it said like in like a troubleshooting thing to like try uninstalling it and then reinstalling it. I uninstalled it, but it wouldn't let. But it just disappeared and wouldn't let me reinstall it.
Oh, you
Now
should
normally,
get a
norm
Ripper. Hmm.
whatever. Normally you can if that's the case, then normally what you're supposed to be able to do on a Windows programming is to use the Windows Media Player to play DVDs. It won't let me use Windows Media Player to play DVDs. It doesn't recognize for some reason doesn't recognize the DVD when I put it in now.
Hmm.
Ever since.
Yeah, I think you can get like a ripper just to rip the file into like an MP4 or whatever, and just
Yeah, but there's a lot. That's the least of my concerns
yeah.
right now with this computer. I mean, it's just well, for one thing, it's fatigued. I've had this for like 4 years now, so
Mhm.
it's starting to feel that computer fatigue.
Right.
I mean, for goodness sakes, I have it. I constantly have it plugged into a exterior cooling fan, so that way it doesn't overheat.
Ah.
Its fan isn't good enough anymore. I've been doing that for what almost 2 years now, and you know it's running a lot slower just because it's old, and it's a Windows, so you know what happens eventually with all Windows.
Yeah.
So that makes it even slower. So of course AZX keeps telling me, oh, you should save up your money and get a Mac. Well, right now, trying to save up money to afford a Mac is not in the cards right now.
Right.
You know, I can get really a lot. There are a lot of good like 350, $400 laptops that I could get that run using Windows and could last me a good another 4 or 5 years.
Mhm.
And by that time, I should hopefully be much more financially stable enough to get something even better.
Right.
Of course, that's assuming that at that point I'm not living out of the house and have a really awesome desktop computer to do all of this on instead.
Mhm.
So, needless to say, I mean, as I think we should just that's that. I mean, in terms of overall for E3, it was just felt a little underwhelming because of the fact of how heavy loaded it was in one conference, getting all the love and getting all the bombshells and surprises and whatnot. I mean, for the love of God, that trailer for Final Fantasy VII, in all honesty, if you did you even how many did you even know that like if could you honestly say that from the moment the trailer started you knew it was going to be a Final Fantasy remake trailer?
uh, from the time I saw the slide gave it away for me, and the background, it all looked very Final Fantasy-esque. So
Well, I mean, but I'm talking about like in particular Final Fantasy VII.
yes,
Like, did you know like at the beginning of the trailer this was going to be Final Fantasy VII?
I did, and because there were rumors that they were going to do it at this E3, and then how the guy prefaced it, and then all of a sudden it coming out, and then when I saw the slide, I'm like, that's it, it's done. It's absolutely Final Fantasy VII, because that
Because it
slide is in District 7 of the slums of that game. So
yeah, but I mean, like I honestly, obvious from what I could tell, it seemed more like you went like it was almost like the end of the trailer before most people would even notice. Like
yeah,
not because I mean you were like, okay, so what is this? What is this? What is this? And then it's like you see Barrett's machine gun arm, and you're like, oh yeah.
yeah. For me, like if you played the game enough, you'll
Well, that's
recognize subtle things that will be like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, and then you see Barrett's arm, and then the Buster Sword just solidified the whole thing in gold.
now yes, it's a huge bombshell, but there is one major flaw that you have to take from that presentation of that, or should I say, the trailer. This is just the announcement that it's going to be done. There's
Hmm.
no definite date at all. We might not even see it for another 2 3 years,
Which is
for all we
fine
know.
for me, honestly. I think most of us were just happy that they're doing it because I mean most because they were denying it for years. They were saying for years they're like, we're not doing this, for various excuses like, if we do a remake for Final Fantasy VII, nobody will ever want to buy another game from us again because it's too good. It's better than
That's a
everything.
load of shit.
That's literally what they said at one point. I'm not even joking.
Yeah, I know. Those are so stupid excuses.
I
Honestly,
think I
I
still have
think
that article too.
honestly, I think they just I think honestly they just needed to wait for the technology to catch up because they knew that okay, doing a remake of the game and as a part of the PlayStation as a PlayStation 2 game would have been like and then
Hmm.
remaking it as a PlayStation 3 game would have been like okay, but remaking it as a PlayStation 4 game is like blowing people's minds.
Yeah.
Like so much so that they should be checking people who live alone that they haven't actually died from the excitement, like like at the beginning of SAO2.
Right.
Except that wasn't from excitement, but that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, for me, I actually I got a lot out of E3 at least. You know, I mentioned Sly not making it in, but for me, things I'm interested in, I got Final Fantasy VII as I gushed sort of over. Kingdom Hearts 3, of course. Uncharted 4. I love Uncharted. I platinum all three of the games, main games. Let's see, Dark Souls 3. Obviously, I platinumed Demon Souls, Dark Souls, and Dark Souls 2.
which is a lot harder than is very very hard.
Yeah, it's hard. Um, what else is
Speaking
there
of
to me?
platinuming, did you platinum Final Fantasy X yet?
Yes, I did, which means I beat Penance and I completely maxed out the entire grid and filled it with every character. So it was,
So wouldn't that technically mean every character is equally strong in every stat?
yeah, but they have different overdrives, so slightly different. I don't know, but yeah. Uh, so there was a lot there for me personally, even though and I'm happy for Star Ocean fans because that looked interesting. And of course, I'm happy for Shenmue. I think I'll play those eventually because they look interesting. Um, I'm happy for Last Guardian fans, even though I didn't think the gameplay looked that interesting. Uh, in
But then
fact,
again, but yeah, yes, but at the same time, this could be like okay, it'll be 2 or 3 E3s later before they see another trailer.
true.
So, and then by that time, it'll be like, oh, this game you see here, this game called XYZ is actually Last Guardian. It just transformed into something else because the Last Guardian wasn't working out.
Right.
Or something like, and then people will be like, start with at that, and of course, but of course, even though it's not a new, technically a new, since it's a new IP, you wouldn't think people would freak out so much over it. But I feel like it would be something that would cause like a riot if like down the line, like a couple E3, you don't see it. It goes on hiatus from E3, from news in general for like another couple years, and then boom, it's we decided to use the assets and change it into a completely different game.
Uh-huh.
We're not canceling it. We're just changing it into a completely different game. It's not even going to be called Last Guardian. It's going to be called XYZ
Hmm.
or something or whatever has a placeholder for whatever title they would change it to. It just,
Right. Yeah. So I liked
I
E3
mean,
this year, but yeah, I do agree it was somewhat underwhelming.
I
So
mean, the closest thing I think we ever got to an E3 riot was when when they announced the HD release of Final Fantasy VII, and
yeah.
people thought it was going to be the remake, and people were like, I thought they were going to riot then.
Hmm. Yeah, it was literally another upscale port. Like we didn't already have that for freaking PC and PS3, but we have to have one. We have to have one for PS4. Okay.
Yeah, so it's just like, really?
I own the
Come on.
PS3 one, but just saying. But